So, good afternoon. I believe you would agree with me that Chainalysis has the best crypto blockchain data, but in today's world, that alone is really not enough. This is because the customer works with very complex workflow, with data coming from so many data sources. So it is important that we partner to create complementary data sets. We provide the integration between the different data sources so that we can actually simplify and provide the customer with the best user experience. So I'm delighted today to have with me on stage Terry from Cellebrite as well as Andrew from Fireblocks. So maybe I will start with Terry. Terry, would you like to introduce Cellebrite for those who do not already know your company?
So before I introduce the company, right, could you reach out to your pocket, make sure that your mobile device is with you? Okay, is it there? Okay, good. So in year 2015, right, Cellebrite became famous. If you can recall, right, FBI wanted to take Apple to court, to get Apple to unlock 2 mobile devices that was found in the San Bernardino shooting, right? And Cellebrite was actually the company rumored to have helped FBI unlock the devices, okay? So I'm still not at the pay grade to tell you whether we did that. Okay? However, I will be able to share with you that over the last 15 years, we have been providing technologies to law enforcement agencies, private entities that deals with digital investigation associated with computer devices and mobile devices, okay? So make sure that your phone is with you, your mobile devices are with you, and also your laptop is with you, okay? Yep.
And over to you, Andrew. Would you like to introduce, Fireblocks for those who do not already know your company?
Sure, thanks, Bernard. So Fireblocks is a company that holds your digital assets very securely. And so that's kind of our core business is custody of digital assets, as well as the transfer of those assets across a transfer network very securely across basically 35 protocols and over 1,000 tokens. But more recently, and this is kind of the exciting thing for us at Fireblocks, is we now support a lot of Web3 initiatives around GameFi, DeFi, so that if you want to mint and create your NFTs, various DeFi projects, you can do that through our platform as well as custody those assets on our platform as well. So that's something that we're very excited about.
Sure, thanks, Andrew. Maybe back to Terry. Obviously, years back when you started, investigation, using the Cellebrite technology, I would suspect that crypto probably wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So when did crypto actually appear as part of the investigation? When did you first see the first crypto requirement coming from your customer?
I would say that the requirement is always there. So the biggest challenge, right, with regard to investigation, whether it's law enforcement or private entity investigation, is this, that you will always stop somewhere. Okay. So there's always an easier way to investigate an offense or a crime, and you will just stop there. Okay. Then about 2 years back, right, our customer came to us and told us that there's a need, right, for Cellebrite to support in such a way that when we deal with extraction of a mobile device, when we are analyzing and decoding the data in there, there's a need, right, for us to flag out the crypto addresses, crypto wallet addresses. And okay, so we went about doing this. And after we are done with it, right, we show them the beta and they ask us, so what, right? So what,
yeah,
right? And the biggest challenge with crypto transaction investigation, right, is not just the complexity of it.
Okay.
Okay. There's also a very big inherent problem with the fact that you could not put a name or a person behind the transaction. You need to really dig deep, right, in order to find that out. So what we did last year was this, that we divided the pain into two parts so that we can make more money.
Sure,
Yeah,
of
just
course.
kidding.
That's
Yeah.
important.
So we divided into two parts. First part is that we created tools, right, to dig out crypto addresses from the phone devices. And this includes things like, crypto addresses in your WhatsApp messages, in the documents, Excel spreadsheet, in your wallet, and so on. And once we have done with that, right, we work with Chainalysis in order to make sure that we provide the end user with a risk score to every address. Take, for example, today, if you flag out 50 addresses, yes, what our tools could do is that you can send the 50 addresses with a click of a button to Chainalysis, and they will send back the risk score, and you will see that immediately on the user interface. Okay? And maybe out of 50 addresses, you identified 2 high-risk wallet. You can send it for enrichment one more round, and then we'll come back and tell you what is the chances that these 2 addresses are associated with malware, money laundering, and so on and so on. So next year, we are going to do something even more exciting. Here's the kicker. Okay. So these guys could actually provide our customers with the historical transaction and the transaction going forward, right? So what we'll do is that we'll take those transactions, the timestamps, okay, the date and the time, which we call that event, and we'll map it to all the artifacts that you could find from the phone, okay? So take, for example, if Bernard and I, right, I gave him some money so that, I can be here to promote our solution. Then, Jonathan is interested to find out how much I'm giving him, right? Then I'm smart enough to do 2 hops, right? To send him 2 Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
Right? And that particular transaction, right, the event timestamp will actually be sent to our tools, and that event timestamp will be mapped against my email, my WhatsApp messages, and so on, so that the investigator, right, could go in there and look at who I was communicating with, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, or even 1 day before and after, right? And that will allow the investigator, right, to figure out who I was transferring the token to. Okay, so pretty layman, if you are not involved in investigation, you will know how that works too, right?
Thank you for a very interesting sharing. Well, 2 Bitcoins, I'll take that anytime.
Yeah.
I'll take 2 as well.
A bit cheaper these days.
Yeah, even though we are so-called crypto winter, but 2 Bitcoins is at least 40,000 USD. So thanks, buddy. So maybe over to Andrew. So obviously, we have been partnering Fireblocks worldwide for a number of years. Obviously, we have done so, especially in Asia Pacific. Just wanted your view, with the partnership and the momentum that we have, where do you see the growth, over the next 12 months?
So I think with, Fireblocks again, what we have is really a workspace, right, where you have an integration of, so for example, a hedge fund, they have multiple exchanges that they deal with, and we have the ability to provide that hedge fund to connect up to the exchanges, and as they're transacting through those exchanges to maybe move funds from one exchange to another, those transactions need to, in some cases, be checked and verified for anti-money laundering or what have you. So whether it's their movement or they're actually receiving funds into their wallets, they get checked. And so when it comes to, I think, AML, KYT type of activities, increasingly, it is becoming more important because of all the regulation, the attention of regulators to this whole space. And so whether it is crypto native or increasingly as we look at carbon credit tokens, as we're looking at bonds being tokenized, all of these sort of transactions, and eventually equity securities and so forth, all of these are going to be subject to some sort of AML, KYT, treatment, right? Sure. And so with what Chainalysis is doing and the integration that we have within our workspaces, it makes the operational flows so much easier, so much seamless, and I think that's what banks, institutions, hedge funds, a lot of our clients are looking for. And as you go to the NFT sort of space as well, whether it be traditional, products or ownership rights, music, or what have you, art, those are also going to be subject to, you want to know where it's coming from. You want to know where it's going to go to, that it is for the right purposes and not for malicious or dark purposes. And so broadly, I think that's where it all fits. And so in the next 12 months, as more attention, I think, comes to the NFT sort of space, as people develop these markets, it makes more sense to have them integrated right now. To have those processes put in place and those tools put in place, where you're able to give that sort of confidence, I think, to the other participants, the buyers and the sellers in the market, that your tokens that you're minting, that you're creating, that the artwork and so forth is compliant, and that it's safe and it's not going to any negative purposes.
Sure. Thanks, Andrew. Back to you, Terry. So obviously, I think with Cellebrite, we just signed the contract agreement, but I could see a fair amount of activities, within ASEAN, since this is Link Singapore. So, what is your assessment on the potential of this, partnership, and how does it help in terms of, the growth and all the, what do you see ahead, at least over the next 6 to 9 months?
The situation today, right? If you enter law enforcement agency, and you compare the number of headcount, right, that are competent in dealing with crypto investigation versus the overall investigator headcount, 1%, less than 1% of the headcount can deal with crypto investigation. And that is strange, right? And we are at the tip of the iceberg in reviewing how serious the what we call readiness gap is, okay? Take, for example, 6 months back, right, we introduced this tool in our solution to dig out a crypto wallet, okay? Make a quick guess. On a monthly basis, right, we have customer volunteering to share with us their usage data. We are seeing an 85% increase on the number of artifacts, being extracted from criminal mobile devices and computer devices. 85% on a monthly basis, right? And the need, right, for crypto investigation has suddenly become very true, right? Because if a lot of the time, right, if let's say today I suspect Bernard is taking drugs, right, then I wouldn't know the severity of how much Bernard is doing drugs until I enter his house. I'll go to his office, open his drawer, his car, and everything. Oh, Bernard, you're there, all the way up there, 2 kg of meth a month or something like that.
That's a lot.
Right? So unless you really look into it, right, there's no way, right, you will know what are we talking about.
Absolutely.
I would think that the company does a great service to the law enforcement agency with your annual crime report. That's fantastic. I'm a big fan of it. Whoever that wrote this, if he's here, I'll buy him a beer. But the next few solution or functionality that we can jointly develop, right, would be very much driven by the customers, the investigators themselves.
Right.
Okay. Some possibility includes stuff like if an agency is right, after using our tool, has flagged out that a particular wallet address that me as a suspect has transferred to. However, the funds are still in there. There's a chance, right, that we could work together to put a tag on it. So once you see that there's funds movement, you could actually inform the investigator immediately. So we can actually form a watch list. Right, so that's just one of the possibility.
Sure.
So the investigators that are here, I don't think every one of you are investigators. So if you want to, talk to me in the lobby, give us suggestions. If you're familiar with our tools, of course, we can talk about it. But the future is going to be there along the line.
Actually, the investigation team from Chainalysis is here. I think it's headed by Jenny. I will do the introduction after. So,
So who's buying beer?
So any feedback or comments would be much appreciated. Yeah, so thanks for that. Andrew, any closing comments that you may have, on the partnership, on the potential of, how we can further this in terms of growth and all that?
Yeah, sure.
Any closing comments that you might want to share?
Yeah, I think for both, the clients of Chainalysis as well as our clients, as well as it becomes increasingly, a requirement for to kind of monitor the transactions that are going through, the networks, that we're able to stop them at, before getting into your vaults, and that's something that we do. And so the detection of those things, as Chainalysis, increases its capabilities and analytical tools, I think to be able to have those, even further integrated into our into our workspace and those capabilities to detect even more malicious transactions before they even reach the vaults is going to become even more critical, I think, for all of our clients. And so I think the partnership definitely has a lot of room to grow, in particular in Asia, as Asia adopts more of these technologies, as Asia moves into wanting to be a global player, to manage wealth, to manage a lot of these different applications of blockchain technologies. That this is the operational efficiencies that you're going to have, and the confidence that a lot of compliance people within companies are going to want to be able to do, and with a lot of efficiencies as well.
Sure, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, and any closing remarks, Terry, that you want to share with everyone?
I would think that our mutual success, right, would all depend on how we simplify crypto investigation together, right? 2 to 3 years back, it is a scenario where they will have to manually look for the crypto addresses from the extraction from a mobile device, lift it out, go to your reactor, put in the addresses one by one, look at the transaction and understand where it intersects, right? Right now, we are at the stage whereby there's possibility that we can put a real face behind it, a real person behind the transaction. The easier, right, that we are making this possible for the investigators, crypto investigation will eventually become the mainstream investigation for almost every criminal offense.
Right,
and that's where we want to go, right? And I foresee that within the next 2 years, right, moving down that area, I think our mutual investment, our mutual collaboration will do a lot of good to the investigative community.
Yeah, I think it will look very, very different, 2 years from now, how the investigation, the process, and how it is being done. I would guess is with all the partnership and all the collaboration, it'll be simplified. I also would think that it's probably a more automated way, because what I'm hearing from Terry actually before we came into the room was that there are so many cases that were unheard, but if there's some kind of automated, so-called investigation that can handle more than 50-60% of that'll be very good. The backlog was huge, right, Terry?
Well, the secret is how do we get there, right? It's about listening to the investigators, coming up with tools that make sense for them rather than make sense for us. What makes sense for us might not make sense for them.
Absolutely.
Right? And before closing, I think I'll transfer you the 2 token. Next week,
sure
I
thing.
think the value will drop further. Yep. Just kidding. Just kidding. I lost money too, guys. Okay, so try and smile. Yeah, you're smiling. I'm smiling.
I'm smiling.
Yeah,
I'm smiling.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you, gentlemen.